guys, it's Martin here from Westronics. Today I'm going to show you how to repair a Denso alternator which is fitted in a lot of vehicles manufactured from 2004 onwards, mainly Opel's Astras, Zafiras, Signums 1.9 turbo diesel, Fiat Bravas Multijet 1.9 turbo diesel, Alfa Romeos and SAAB's 93s TID and TTID. So let's move on and see how it's done. Now guys, to know that you have the problem with the alternator, you will see a red light shaped like a battery in your vehicle up on the dash, and if this light will stay on while the vehicle runs, means you have the charging problem, means you have the alternator problem. Now to identify this alternator, just look at it, and the first significant thing you see is a one very heavy lug and one very small lug on the other side. Now the other thing is the black plastic cap goes over the back of it, and there's one big connection, and it could be either one small one or two small ones. As you see, there's a little hole there, which there might be a connection there in some of them there isn't. Now the other thing that you might have a look at is the sticker. Now as you see, the sticker is white, there's a little barcode on it, and it says Denso made in Italy. As well as that, at the very back of the alternator, you can see here it says Denso made in Italy as well. Now we are 100% sure that is the alternator we are featuring today. Now guys, first thing to do is we have to remove the back cover from the alternator. There's 3 clips at the back of it. There's no bolts holding it or anything like that. There's 3 clips, 2 of them here and 1 of them here. Just pull them back, move the cover backwards a bit, and as you can see, it comes off pretty easily. Now the next thing we have to do is we have to remove the regulator. Regulator is held by one 8 nut here. There's a Phillips screw inside there. There's one Phillips screw here, and there's a big M8 nut which is a 13 spanner. Now guys, we have all our bolts taken off. Now on top of the big one here, there's a little spacer that sits on the top of it. Now make sure you don't lose that, because we're going to need that. Now in them particular alternators, the main problem with them is rectifier. 9 out of 10 of them, the problem is the rectifier, which is the big shiny aluminium part here. Now all our bolts are loosened. Now pull back the regulator, and as you can see, comes off easy. We have our brushes here, and we have our slip ring here, which I'm going to show you how to make sure the slip ring is okay in a second. Now guys, let's have a look at our slip rings. Now as you can see, the darker colored surface of the slip ring, it's where the brushes run. Now as you can see on this particular slip ring, there isn't the brushes didn't make a quite deep cut into the slip ring, which that means the slip ring is actually quite good. If this surface where the brush runs is deep, or you can see the plastic throughout, it means it's very bad and it has to be replaced. And I'm going to show it to you how to do it in video I'm going to do in future, which is going to show how to change bearings and the slip ring in this alternator as well. But today we are focusing on the rectifier, which is the main cause of the problems with them. Now guys, we checked our slip rings and we are pretty sure that they are okay. Next thing we want to do, we want to have a look at the brushes and see, are they good enough. Now to do that, we want to remove this little plastic cap here by simply just giving it a few taps with the screwdriver. Now just make sure you don't break off the brushes while you're doing it, and the cap is off. Now as you can see, the brushes are actually out fair distance. Now if you see them brushes out by maybe that much or less, again, it means they're quite short and they'll have to be replaced. But for now, as you see, they're out good bit, they're good enough. Now guys, when we have our brushes inspected and our slip rings inspected, it's time to remove the rectifier. Now the rectifier is held by 2 remaining 8 nuts, and there's 3 connections. This one, and this one. Now in this alternator they are all soldered, because this rectifier was changed before, but in the one you will have, they are just going to be fused, and if you just try open them with the screwdriver, they just simply open, they just simply break off. They'll be very simple to do that. It'll be simpler than resoldering it. Now we have our soldering iron nice and hot. Just going to put it down onto the connection there. And when we see it getting hot enough and the solder moving, we're just going to break it off because we don't really need it. And keep heating the connection and move the two wires away from the connection. Make sure it's separated. And all we have to do now is do the same thing with remaining two of them. Now guys, we have our two nuts removed, we have our three connections unsoldered. Now when you remove the nuts at the bottom of them, there's a little plastic insulators there. Make sure you don't lose them. Take them off. Now remove the rectifier. Now guys, if you want to make sure that the rectifier is your problem, what you will see with the original one, with the faulty original one is, you will see the diodes, which are them. See, as they are burnt out at the bottom there, here and this one and this one. They are burnt there, and if you try to move them with a bit of a screwdriver or something like that, they break off awful easy, as you see on this one. And the rectifier, original rectifier on them alternators has them diodes, so just have a good look at the diodes, and if you see them burnt like that, it means that is the problem, and they do break off awfully easy. Now guys, we have a new rectifier here, and we're going to fit it onto the alternator now. So make sure there's three connections here on the rectifier, 1, 2 and 3, and them three connections are going to three wires, one here, here and here. Now it's very simple, just put it down and slide it over. And now rectifier is in place. Now we are going to put our bolts, two bolts holding the rectifier back onto it. Now just make sure to put the insulators first. Now it goes insulator, little washer, and then the nut. And do the same with the second one. Now the third one, which is this one, don't worry about that, because this one is going to be held by the connection on the regulator, which is this. So don't worry about the third bolt sticking out through the rectifier. Now tighten them too. Now after we have our two nuts tightened and holding the rectifier nice and solid, what you want to do, you want to clamp them little connections onto the wires. Just squeeze them up gently with the pliers, and when you're done with it, it's time to solder them. Now guys, we have our soldering iron very hot. We have a bit of a solder here as well. Now put the soldering iron into the connection, wait for it to heat up a bit, and now you can just apply a bit of a solder there, and our connection is ready to go. Sometimes what you will have to do is the wires coming out of the stator, you'll have to give them a little rub with a sandpaper or something like that. Just make sure they are nice and clean. Do the same thing with the second connection. Now solder the third connection, and we're ready to put the regulator back onto the alternator. Now guys, when we have the rectifier soldered and tightened with our two nuts, it's time to put the reg back onto it. Now just don't make sure you have this little cap, which was fitted on the regulator, off, because it has to be off to fit it. Now just slide it down through the big bolt. Now, and as the brushes meet the slip ring, just pull them back with something and keep sliding it down. Now that's the one of them, and second one, and our regulator is back, it's in place. Now it's time to tighten our regulator. Now remember about the little spacer, put it back onto the M8 connection. We have a little Phillips screw which goes in there. We have M8 nut which goes in here, and we have the longer Phillips screw which fits in there. Now it's time to tighten all our bolts holding the regulator. Now guys, we have everything tightened. We have our two Phillipses, one here tightened. We have our 13 nut tightened on top of the big connection, and we have our 8 nut tightened. Now what you want to do now is put the cap back over the brushes. It's very simple to do it. Just two little sliders in the regulator. Just put the cap over and just slide it down, just like that. And it's time to put the cover back onto our alternator. Now it's time to put the cover back onto the alternator. It's very simple to do. All what we have to do is we have to match this big connection here and the small connection here with the two openings in the cover. Just match them down, put it down a bit and press it. And as you see, our cover clicks over the rectifier and it's nice and solid. The alternator is ready to be put back onto the vehicle and it'll charge away. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope you benefited from it and I hope I helped you to solve the problem in your vehicle. Please click that like button if you liked the video and stay tuned for more videos of starters and alternators being repaired to come. Thanks.